What's up guys, welcome back to another trophy video. Today we're playing Esper Goryos in Modern. So graveyard decks, specifically Goryo's Vengeance decks, and also Persist decks, but today we're focusing on Goryo's Vengeance. I've been doing really well in the Modern challenges. There's not too much graveyard hate in the meta right now, so playing a graveyard deck might just be the play. The Goryo's Vengeance deck has had a major overhaul, so let's talk about some of the new flex spots and talk about what we used to play. So before, Goryo's was actually kind of like a domain deck. It was running Leyline Binding, additional looting effects, and had some really awkward mana. This version goes pure Esper, short of Hedge Maze, so that way we can cast Atraxa, which maybe you'll see later in the video. But overall, it's an Esper midrange deck that also has Goryo's Vengeance for that cheeky graveyard plan. So for our land base, we're running Esper lands. We're actually running 4 Surveil lands with Hedge Maze, Meticulous Archive, Shadowy Backstreet, and Undercity Sewers. So the reason to run as many Surveil lands as possible is because we can get that Entomb effect, where you surveil an Atraxa or a Grusselbrand into the graveyard turn 1, and then turn 2 you can cast Goryo's Vengeance and get your creature back. Running the Surveil lands also lets you grind really hard, especially because this is more of like a mid-range deck now. For our 1 slots, we have Ephemerate. This pairs really well with Atraxa, Solitude, and Quantum Riddler. So in turn 3 with Quantum Riddler, you can warp it for 2 mana, and then Ephemerate it, and then you just have a 4/6, draw 2 cards, it's insane. Same with Solitude, you can even do this on turn 1. Just evoke Solitude, flicker it, and exile 2 creatures. And then lastly, after you Goryo's either Atraxa or Grusselbrand, it would go to exile, but if you can Ephemerate it, you get the ETB again, and it sticks around. For our 2 drops, we have Psychic Frog, which is a great discard outlet, and it's an alternate win con if they deal with your graveyard. We have 1 of Emperor Bones in this list. Usually you see like 2 to 4, but today we're just running 1. It synergizes really well with eating Atraxa or Grusselbrand, getting it back and getting those ETB effects. You can also eat Quantum Riddler or Solitude, and then Ephemerate it, and then it sticks around. For our 3 drops, we have Force and Negation, just an amazing counter for after you go off, to protect your stuff. 1 Sink and a Super for bounce effects. Catchermost just has a good mid-range card, pairs really well with Psychic Frog. The Fairy is a 1 of, which is good against opposing Esper mid-range decks, and good against control decks. And then 1 Subtlety just as like a flex spot. And then finally, the new addition to the deck, which is Quantum Riddler. So Quantum Riddler from the new set, it says you can warp it for 2, so when it comes in, you get to draw a card. If you have 1 or fewer cards in hand, you get to draw 2 cards. So this actually pairs really well with Psychic Frog. So if you have Quantum Riddler in play, you want to discard your hand at least up to 1 card, so that way when Psychic Frog connects, you get to draw 2 cards instead of 1. Like we said, it pairs really well with Ephemerate, and it's just an alternate win con if they deal with your graveyard. Moving on to the sideboard, we have 2 Wrath of Skies for board wipes, Celestial Purge for black and red decks, Subtlety, usually for combo decks or creature decks, Mystical Dispute for blue decks, Consign of Memory for Eldrazi and some combo decks, Thoughtseize for control decks, combo decks, Teferi for control decks, Pest Control for Boros, Affinity decks, and then Spellbomb for graveyard decks. So that is your Esper Goryo's Vengeance deck in Modern. Before we get into the video, I want to talk to you guys about becoming a YouTube channel member. You'll get access to a lot of cool perks like loyalty badges, cool emotes, and early access to videos like this one. Also, we are Mana Traders content creators, so if you want to save up to 25% on your first subscription, all that information is in the description below. So if you want to see more Modern content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and let's get in the gameplay. Alright, welcome to match 1 on the draw. I think we're going to keep this hand. We have at least 2 lands. We have Force just for protection, and then we have a way to Goryo's. We can get Atraxa into the yard. Blooming Marsh into Thoughtseize. Most likely taking Goryo's, I'd imagine. They take the Force and Negation. So we're going to assume this is a combo deck. The only deck that plays Blooming Marsh is either Lantern or like Sam combo or something. Bauble. Makes me think even more Lantern. Lantern's really good against like us. They're really good against combo decks. So they Bauble us, play another Bauble and pass. Draw another Goryo's. Kind of wish they took the first one. Grusselbrand into the graveyard. Sick Entomb there. They go with Ancient Stirrings. Kind of want them to Thoughtseize us and see the other Goryo's. But they already know we're drawing it, so... And unfortunately, Grusselbrand isn't the greatest against this deck, especially early when we're drawing cards. Yeah, like there's Ensnaring Bridge and Urza Saga. So we're going to be looking for Force and Negation, Psychic Frog. Well, now we can just discard Atraxa at some point. Here's another Atraxa. Play Marsh Flats. We're going to just Grusselbrand. We're going to have to get in before they play Bridge. Get a Watery Grave untapped. There's a Solitude on top, but we definitely just want to find Force. Force or Sink. So you could also cast a Psychic Frog, and then next turn, we could either Grusselbrand or Atraxa, draw a bunch of cards, discard the Frog, and attack in. I don't think they're going to be able to empty their hand. I kind of like that play, actually. Let's play Psychic Frog. Hopefully us not casting Goryo's Vengeance looking for Force and Negation kind of punishes us, but we're going to try it. Alright, they Bauble us, so they're definitely going to have a full grip, because they have to draw a land. This is going to be land 3, so we know they can play Bridge, and they shuffle. I wonder why they shuffled. They targeted themselves, okay. Maybe they're trying to empty their hand. So they should just slam Bridge here. There's Ensnaring Bridge. So now we're just going to Brand, attacking with Frog, do the whole thing. There's Solitude. So let's cast Goryo's, target Brand. They have main deck Surgical. Oh man, I forgot about that. I guess we do run a couple, but I really wasn't expecting that. Well, that's a little unfortunate because now they can get like a Soul God Lantern or something, and they can empty their hand. So we're gonna need like Sync. Really nice draw for them. Wait, did they not? Oh no. They Surgical'd Brand, but just like didn't click on it? That's interesting. Alright, so let's attack. Attack with Frog, draw 7, discard, and then we're just gonna discard our entire hand. Yeah, and they scoop. Alright, so against Lantern Control, definitely want Wrath of Skies, definitely want Consign to Memory. They're mostly an artifact deck. Thoughtseize is tempting, Pest Control. We want like all of this. Ketramos isn't very good. Solitude's not very good. Subtlety's not good. A lot of our deck is not very good. We're just going to become like a control deck. Sync's good to bounce Bridge. Teferi's good to bounce Bridge. That's why we want Teferi. Planeswalkers are really hard for them to deal with. Since we play Lantern on the channel, we kind of know what we're doing here. Or we like to think we do anyway. I think Brand can come out. So if we want all of this, need to make some more cuts. Emperor of Bones, not really impactful. Like it can target our stuff, but let's take all the Solitudes out. I do want Prismatic Ending that hits constructs and it deals with all their single mana, their Lantern and stuff. I mean, Riddler draws cards, probably like an Atraxa out, and a Goryo's. Just kind of go in the mid-range plan here and try that. All right, so this is a 6 sideboard hand, but unfortunately we have no lands, so we got a mulligan. This hand sucks. Do we get a 5? We can surveil stuff into the yard, and we have Goryo's. I'm going to keep it. I'll just put back an island. It does have Consign, it doesn't have Thoughtseize, it doesn't have Wrath of Skies. There's this Saga, Mox Opal. I like to see them playing at least one Mox Opal. Pithing Needle. So hopefully they just name Brand, which is another reason to cut it. We're assuming that's what they're going to name. Or Frog. And we're actually going to consign to memory the second chapter. If they get Graveyard Hate, like so be it, but I think stopping them making constructs unless we draw something impactful, especially because we boarded out all our Solitudes. They're thinking. Like sometimes you want to keep Solitudes in for this, but most of the time it's like not very good. They do name Psychic Frog, okay. So obviously Wrath of Skies is the best draw. Force Negation. Play Flooded Strand, and then we're probably just going to consign this trigger, I think, because we have nothing going on. Get a Watered Grave. Consign this, because they can just play a land. I mean, maybe they don't even have enough to make constructs. We don't know. I guess not, because then they'd have to tap, play something else. Ancient Stirrings. Yeah, maybe that wasn't very good, just because they can't make the construct this turn without a second opal. Find Pixis. They play Pixis. Yeah, thinking back, the consign, probably a little loose there. But they could make a construct next turn, if they wanted to. Thoughtseize. That's Thougeize. Oh my god. Surgical, Ensnaring Bridge, and Ashiok. Jesus. What a hand. So they can float mana next turn. All of these are like amazing against us. We're going to take one and then just force the other. Let's take Ashiok, just because we have these, and then if they do happen to somehow take this away before landing that, they Pixis. We're going to force either one, so it doesn't really matter, but they should just float here. But they have to float. And then maybe we can, we have to fetch now, just in case they're definitely going to have more needles. So we'll get a Meticulous Archive, Shadowy Backstreet, we'll bend that, and see if they get another form of Graveyard Hate, or if they're going to rely on the Surgical. Just Lantern, okay. Wow, another Surveil land, 2 Surveil lands on top. They draw Saga for turn, that's actually really good. That's unfortunate. So they are going to play Bridge. I almost like want this to come down. Oh, it's so tempting. The reason I want it to come down is so that way they can't beat us with constructs. And we know they have a Surgical in hand. I'm actually going to let this happen. I don't know if this is correct or not, because they have the bridge and everything here. We'll see. Alright, we're going to just Sewers, bin a land. Psychic Frog, they're going to Pixis. Wow, they didn't. They wanted these Stirrings, okay. So if we can find a way to bin something big and then Goryo's it and then force their Surgical, maybe? They find a Gravedigger's Cage. They play Cage. Yeah, I guess we'll force it. So we know they have Surgical in hand. Frog is needled. Maybe that's why they don't care. We're going to draw it. We're going to play it. Guess play out the Flooded Strand. They're going to have to empty their hand if they really want to be empty-handed behind Ensnaring Bridge. So that's kind of like a tough spot for them. They draw the Needle. So they can go get another Graveyard Hate piece if they really want. Let's crack this so they can't needle the land. Get a Hedge Maze. There's a Frog. I'll Graveyard it. Ephemerate. Gonna be a grindy game. They get Codex Shredder. So they should cast Needle here. The game's kind of over already. They have 2 forms of mill. We'll play a little bit, but it's kind of over. Maybe we should have went to 5. They named Brand here. Because now they can just mill if we ever see Wrath. There's Atraxa. Alright, they're gonna let us attack. Exile Atraxa. Another Goryo's. That connects. We draw the Goryo's. Oh, Teferi. Damn. That would be a good one to draw. We're just going to pass. They mill the Teferi. So if we can ever get a Atraxa into the yard, there's another Surgical too. And another Lantern. Yeah, it's going to be really tough to come back from this, but we're not completely out of it. Draw the Thoughtseize. We're seeing if they want to get rid of Surgical yet, so that way Frog can't attack. Alright, they Surgical the Forces. Makes sense. And then we'll just pass. They mill Consign to Memory. Third Goryo's on top. And they just pass with a card in hand. Another Ephemerate. There's the other Surgical. They hit Consign to Memory. I think we'll come back if anything interesting happens, but otherwise we're just going to keep doing this. And then, as I say that, there's a Wrath Disguise that they're going to mill, but we'll come back later. Alright, so we're back. We actually had our last two cards be Prismatic Ending. Now we are currently giving both of our frogs flying. So everything has flying. We're not going to down tick with the fairy because we have 0 cards in hand, so we'd lose. So we're going to get in with everything, and we have Xaxes. Pretty crazy game. They milled us out for everything entirely, but our last 2 cards were double Prismatic Ending, so we were able to get both of their bridges that were in play. We also cast Pest Control, which was able to get rid of their lanterns and all their mill rocks. So that's one reason why you don't have to concede against Lantern, because you can always find the answers. I match 2 on the play. So this is a 1-lander, but we have a Surveil land. It's a pretty risky keep. Let's try it though. We have Pitch Solitude if we need it. Not the most exciting hand otherwise, but we'll see. Force a negation to the graveyard. This could obviously be a very easy mulligan though, especially against Burn. We have double Faithful Mending. Let's just Solitude this now. It's going to get bigger later, and we just want to get rid of it. So if we can find lands, then Faithful Mending is going to save us. We do not. Okay. So now we look stupid. Arid Mesa. Oh, it's Mardu Burn. And they haste a Timeline Color into Skewer. So unfortunately, we can't cast Faithful Mending. We have no blue mana. Just getting hard punished here, drawing the basic. Another Timeline Color they just cast from Warp. Now I'm sort of regretting Solituding that, but they would have done way more damage over time, so they suspend a Rift Bolt. Come on, blue source. Okay, cool. So I'll get the island here. Cast Faithful Mending. Put Atraxa, and I guess another one into the yard. We don't need both. And then next turn we can just get the Atraxa back. Unfortunately, we're not playing any Fatal Pushes, so let's hope they can't do 11 here. Gonti's Machinations. They're going to be triggering that with some big Canyon. Sovereign's Bite. Down to 6. Another Goryo's. So let's use this mana and see if we can find a land for plains, so that way we can Faithful Mending without having to fetch Shock. Cast Goryo's. Target Atraxa. Cast Lightning Bolt. Put us down to 3. Oh no, and then they activate Gonti's. They had the perfects there, and we get punished for keeping that 1-lander. Alright, so against Burn, we'll bring in the Celestial Purge. We don't really have anything else. Take out a Teferi and try that. Alright, on the play for game 2. Oh no, it's another 1-lander with Faithful Mending and Solitude. Alright, I'm not going to learn my lesson. I feel like this is just such a good hand. With Faithful Mending, Ephemerate, Solitude, Psychic Frog can get in if they have Graveyard Hate. We have the Atrax that have been eventually if we draw Goryo's. But again, if you're playing seriously, probably mulligan this. Alright, we're going to Surveil. Looking for that land drop. If you want to fetch land. Ah, it's a Goryo's. We're going to Graveyard it. That sucks. That'd be such a good pick up here. We are going to have Solitude, Ephemerate, and then hopefully it sticks around if they play that Warp Creature next, so it's fine. We can gain some life, as long as they don't kill it. Land? No. Oh, man. Don't hate me, guys. It's fine. We're having fun here. Let's hope they just hardcast. Oh, they're not going to hardcast. I was going to say, let's hope they just hardcast Double Creature. Okay, that's actually nice. So we can Solitude, Pitching, Faithful Mending. I want to keep the Atraxa just in case. So we'll target that, Ephemerate, and then target the Swift Spear. And we're doing this in response to the Bolt Wave, so that way they gain less life. And now we get to gain at least 3 life. We're not going to rebound. We draw the land, Sec, Shock and Hallowed Fountain. We play Psychic Frog. Now we get to discard Atraxa and hopefully find that Goryo's. Gonti's Machinations, and the tap land. So they're holding up maybe a Bolt for this. I feel like they should have used it while we were tapped out. We find a Polluted Delta, discard Atraxa. They're just tapped out. We get to draw a card. Another Atraxa. Since they're not doing anything, we're just going to play Psychic Frog and pass. Just get as much pressure on the board as possible. We're at 20. So, Reign of Gore. Oh no. I guess we're not attacking with Solitude anymore. Which is why frogs are so important. They Surveil a land into the yard. They're like ready. Get Sewers. Delta to the graveyard. So now we can't cast Faithful Mending either. Another Solitude. Attack with both of these. Discard Atraxa. Discard Faithful Mending. It's a 3-4. 3, 4, 5. I guess we'll discard here too. I was waiting for them to like bolt in response. The reason I'm doing this is so that way this is a 2-turn clock. And then we just draw 2 lands. Alright, they're down to 6. We're at 19. Can't imagine them getting out of this. And they don't Alright, so they're bringing in Rain of Gore. Do we do anything about that? I feel like we just have to ignore it. We can always force it, we can bounce it, we can purge it. I think we just run it back. Alright, game 3, and we finally have a 2-lander. We're gonna keep. If we can get Ketchamos online before we're dead, it would be good. If we can get something in the yard for Goryo's Vengeance, Swift Spear for the 3rd time. Get him for 1. Atraxa. Marsh Flats. I guess we'll keep it on top, because we're gonna need a 3rd land anyway for Ketchamos. Surveil land. Good for us. It means it's a little slow for them. They do keep it on top. Plasma Bolt. Alright, let's go Flooded Strand. We'll go get an island. Psychic Frog. And this can get a Plains. And then if they have nothing, we get to discard Atraxa. And then Goryo's it. They have Gonti's Machinations again. It's like the same spells every single time. Kinda funny. They are holding up mana. Let's discard Atraxa. Do we just like chump here? I think we do. It shuts off Skewer. It makes them... Alright, they just do nothing. What do they have? Another land. I feel like they have like Deflecting Palm or something stupid, right? Let's play Marsh Flats. We're gonna keep this open for Plains. It's Goryo's Atraxa. They said that's GG. I'm glad we got there after that game 1. Alright, match 3 on the draw. And I think we can try this hand too. We have Faithful Mending to put back Atraxa. We have Force if we need to. Island and a Bauble. Mox Opal. So this is going to be Affinity, but they don't have the, what's it called, at least. Hopefully we can get something down before they Kappa us. No more lands, please. Okay, Frog is good. Start with a Meticulous Archive to the graveyard. Kind of hoping they don't have a Saga here. They repeal their Mox Opal at the end of my turn for a redraw. Polluted Delta. Access to 3 mana. I wonder if it's just like Rebuke or something. They crack it for a Steam Vents. Thought Cast. I'm just gonna force that. See if they have the counter here. If they do, they should use it. They didn't. Okay. We did pitch the Mending, but we have Frog to discard Atraxa. Maybe they're just holding that up. I'm just gonna chill. There's no way they don't have it, right? And I don't mind surveilling, taking my time. It sucks that we drew another land, though. Mountain. You could argue maybe jamming just to get it out of their hand, but if they're not doing anything, we can just surveil and chill. Another Thought Cast. They just pass. They definitely have the counter, though. There's like no way they don't. We'll go to Sewers. We see Atraxa. Put that into the yard. Nice Entomb there as well. Another land. Ugh. All right, let's just... I'm going to play it out because we're going to need to... get through this anyway. If they have it, wow, they didn't use it on that. Okay. Maybe they think this is bait for us. Another Repeal. Mox Opal. Just no plays. 4 cards in hand, though. Really not sure what they're doing. Get a Shadowy Backstreet. Faithful Mending. That's tempting. Like, yeah, we can put it in the graveyard for flashback, or we can just draw it. I'm going to keep it. Play Flooded Strand. We'll just cast it main phase. Ephemerate. Guess we'll discard. This is going to get a Hedge Maze, most likely, so we'll get rid of Delta. And guess Atraxa. We'll attack. I wonder if they have like a Bolt or something for this. Get him for 1. Flame of Anor. Let's get Godless Shrine. We'll Ephemerate. It's basically like a counter. If they have something else, maybe they want to use it. So is this like Wizards? So instead of us drawing a card, we just made them use Flame of Anor. There's a Saga. Rebound. I'll say no. Pending. We can save Pending for the constructs or like something else. And play the Plains. Let's flashback main phase if we can find Goryo's. Cast Faithful Mending. They're taking a lot of time on their turn, so I feel like they have interaction. It would be funny if this eats the counter. It does. Say no. So we knew they had it. It's interesting that the flashback got it. Alright, we'll attack. They have Otawara. Alright, I guess we will... Psychic Frog. We could Pending the Boots, because they're going to be getting in with a Hasty Construct this turn if they want to. But I'd rather just Pending the Construct. They're also going to have Graveyard Hate that they can get, so it's going to suck when we don't find anything. They have 1 card in hand. They make the Construct and equip Boots. They do equip Boots. So they could have gotten in if they wanted to. They still have another counter up if they need. Faithful Mending. I guess we will main phase that again. They bubble us. They still have the counter up if they have it. Another Psychic Frog. So I'll bin this. Exile here, here, and here to give it a flying. Attack for 1. We draw Gristlebrand. So I guess we'll keep that in hand. Let's see if they have the counter. You know what? We can't play Frog and get rid of this Construct token. Do we care? Because they can swing for... I think it's fine. Could also just flashback Faithful Mending. Now let's just play Frog. Play out Frog. See if they have the Metallic Rebuke. Or they choose not to use it if they do. And we can't Pending the Construct. We could Pending the Boots. And we'll just pass. So we'll see if they get the Graveyard Hate. Or if they get the Shadow Spear and just try to beat us down. They make the Construct. They do get the Tormod Script. Okay. Emery. That mills over a Bauble. And a Quarry Steel Cutter. They equip it to Emery. Okay. They get a Bauble back. Or they can Opal and then Opal twice. I don't know why they do that though. Yeah, they get the Bauble. Bauble. So they can move this over and attack for 12, and that's what they do, or 13. Kind of regret not hitting the boots now. Yeah, we go to 6. Just getting soloed by Urza Saga. They bubble us. Draw another pending. Okay, well, that's actually fantastic. So we don't have the mana to flashback Mending and double pending here. Let's attack first. Draw 2 cards. Draw a land and a Goryo's. This can go get a blue source. Let's get an island. So we need 3 mana. Yeah, we're not going to be able to flashback and do everything. So that's pending here. They are going to have Kori Steelcutter. That might just kill us. So pending here. Big Tormod's Crypt us. Okay, well, in response, we're going to get a Traxa. Looking for Ephemerate. Pretty crazy that they crypt us there. Come on, Ephemerate. Okay, we find it. Sick. Ephemerate, Solitude. Oh no, we just hit all creatures. Did we take Ketramos? We also could have discarded Gristlebrand and reanimated that, but I think Atrax is better in this situation. I think we'll take Ketramos. That's crazy. We only have 2 hits here. We're gonna, yeah, let's take Solitude here. Because there's 3 here, and then we're gonna Ephemerate, and then it'll be fine. So they exile the graveyard. So we'll say okay. Pay the ward. Now we get to Ephemerate Atraxa. So that's 6 around. Find a Prismatic Ending. Another Ephemerate. Atraxa. Flooded Strand. So they're going to Emery back. I guess it doesn't really matter. If they Emery back Koi Steelcutter, we have the Atraxa out. We want the white card for Solitude. Riddler's pretty good here too. I think we'll try this. I think this is like fine. So that was nice of them to crack Tormod's Crypt on our turn. Not sure why they did it. They get back Koi Steelcutter. They cast it. They have 3 cards in hand, so they definitely have something to trigger this. They play a land, and then they just scoop. Okay. So against Affinity, this is definitely a Wrath of Skies matchup. We want the Mystical Dispute. This is Izzet Affinity, so they have Emery. It's kind of like the slower value version with Emery and Koi Steelcutter. Pest Control hits all their stuff, so we definitely want all of this. Graveyard, I don't really care about. It's just Emery. Purge hits just Koi Steelcutter. I think we can take out the forces. Bring in this. Maybe Subtlety out. I mean, Subtlety is good against Kappa. It's close. They're going to have Blood Moon too, which can be annoying. I think as long as we fetch our basics, we should be good. Maybe Emperor, bring in like a Thoughtseize. They don't really empty their hand that quickly. I guess, you know what, we'll just keep 1 force in and try that. All right, game 2, and we're definitely going to mulligan this hand. We have 1 Plains. As long as we don't get Blood Moon cheesed, I think we'll be good. I mean, I feel like we have to keep this. If they have Blood Moon, we're just screwed. Double Pending's nice. Let's keep, put back Gristlebrand. We'll see if we are punished. They start with a Saga into Shadow Spear. Alright, good Prismatic Ending target. Solitude. How much do we care about Shadow Spear? It is an artifact, but do we want to just kill the Sagas or the Constructs? I think we have 2 pendings and we only have 1 white source, so I'm just gonna at least hit this one. Gets rid of their affinity count, which can be important. Also, if they have like an Opal or something that stops all their stuff, Surveil Land. So now they can't even make Constructs. They're just trying to get some type of graveyard hit as quick as possible, but we have the pending for that. 3rd pending. Alright, we'll play tap land. Come on, no Blood Moon. They float the mana. They get a Needle on Gristlebrand or Frog. Psychic Frog, okay. Seems to be the popular choice. Cameo. No land? They bin to land. Wow, no land, okay. Polluted Delta. Nice. So we're gonna pending Cameo. Wow, they force it. Pitching Emery. I'm kind of curious why they forced that. I'm just gonna pending it again. If they're willing to force it, that means they really want this. We are gonna not get a basic, and I guess hope they don't draw land, and like blood Moon themselves out or something. Could've got the Shrine. Pending number 3. They gotta be really annoyed at that. So you could also save the pendings and Solitude it, but with them only being on 1 land, we just need like a discard outlet, and we can just get this going. Soul God Lantern, okay. They get a pending. Also, if we make our land drops, we can just cast the Solitude. Delta. Yeah, there's like really no bad draws for us right now. They're gonna have to crack this eventually just to draw a card. Bauble. Yeah, still no land for them. We'll Surveil. Get a Sewer. No fear from Blood Moon. Land on top. Now this get a Plains. They bauble us. They see a land. Wow, they didn't crack it. They have to draw land here, right? They get 2 looks. Nothing. Get the Plains. I mean, I'm assuming they just have like a counter for this. They have to have Rebuke, right? That's totally fine. You have to get it out of their hand eventually. Another land. Okay. At this point, we're just going to hard cast Atraxa. So this will get a Hedge Maze, Emery. So I can get back Baubles, or Amber, or Opal. Get a Hedge Maze. Yeah, we just need 1 more land. Atraxa to the graveyard. Get a Swamp. Just hard casting Atraxa on curve. Pretty crazy. And they use their counter on the Solitude, so Atraxa triggers. We find Solitude, Wrath the Skies, Faithful Mending. Yeah, they see it. They were stuck on 1 land, they binned the mountain, and then they just never found something else. Match 4 on the draw, and we're going to keep this hand. We have Faithful Mending to put a Trax into the yard. We have Solitude Pitch if we need to. Wooded Foothills go. Another land. Really just want a Goryo's Surveil land. Elegant Parlor. So this is most likely Energy, maybe Storm. Okay, so it's Storm. Hopefully they have Ral here. We kind of fold to combo decks without Thoughtseize or Force Negation in hand. Come on, Ral. Reckless Impulse. Okay. They do find Ral. So that's good. They're going to cast that next turn and we get to Solitude it. Definitely need to find a Force or something. Look at an Archive here because we have the Watery Grave. Goryo's Vengeance on top. Okay. Shotgun Watery Grave. Then we'll just pass. We can Faithful Mending end of turn and then Goryo's Vengeance. Hopefully find something. Assuming they're going to play Ral here. There's Ral. So as soon as they go to cast Manamorphose. Alright, we're going to Solitude, pitching Ketramose. We probably should have actually Faithful Mendinged. But I think we'd pitch Ketramose regardless. I don't think it's going to like change. Not sure what else we'd pitch. Just like another, maybe like Atraxa or something. I don't know. So that goes. But they do get to play the Artist's Talent. They draw a card. They have 2 red mana for that. And then maybe pass. And then next turn they can level it up. That's what they do. Alright, we're going to Faithful Mending. Yeah, we find a Pending. So let's spin this and Island. Because I want the white source. We draw another land anyway. I want the white source for Atraxa. We're hoping to find a Force and blue card. So that way, if they level it up and then they have the land for more spells, they can't just like pop off. We could always just Pending this and play it safe. But if they have something, then we just straight up lose. So we need a white Goryo's here. All right, Atraxa lands. Oof, we don't find it. Okay. We have the Solitude, Teferi, Quantum, Emperor. Damn. We didn't even find Ephemerate, which was the big miss. Take Teferi, the land. Probably another Solitude. Yeah, we kind of bricked here. Do we take the Solitude or do we take the Quantum to draw more cards? I think we need the Solitude to pitch, maybe. Or we just need Riddler. Yeah, let's do that. Attack with Atraxa. That sucks, we bricked. We'll just pass. So assuming they're going to go level up, play land, and hopefully they can't just win like that. It'd be great if they just leveled this up and passed, because then we just Teferi down tick, or just Prismatic Ending most likely. Yeah, we'd Pending, and then, oh wow, they play Ral, and they have the land anyway. So we'll let that trigger. They discard a Ral. Now we're going to Solitude, pitch Teferi. And this is fine too, just because it empties our hand for Quantum for more draws. So if they have any, like, rituals, they should crack this and do it now, but maybe they don't. All right, they do. They shock it in. So now if they win the flip, they have a chance to save it, and then we're just kind of screwed. Come on, no wins, no wins. Nah, damn, they won the flip. So the only upside is they have... Oh, I guess they can... Yeah, what sucks is they're going to have 3 mana, so now they can level this up and have this as the cost reducer, and then they have 2 mana here, and they can maybe pop off. We'll see. They could also just plus here as well. But they only have 2 cards in hand, so they have to be pretty good. Hoping they're not Wish or Piff. They do uptick. They level up Artist Talent. Glimpse is really good. Probably not winning this, unless they just have to brick really hard here. They find a Ritual and 2 lands, so that's kind of bricking. So this last card has to suck, but they get to loot it away. Alright, they just level this up all the way. They make 2 spawn. God, we draw another land. That sucks. Like the worst thing possible. So let's Pending here. We'll play a land, and then just warp this. Go to Plains. This feels terrible, just flooding out like this. Especially if we're not going to be casting Atraxa. We draw Emperor. I mean, that's going to be slow because they don't have anything in the graveyard anyway. Like, we'd want to eat a Piff or a Wish. They plus. They have so many live draws. Oh, God, they drew another Glimpse. Yeah, probably not getting there. They have Reckless Impulse and Glimpse there. So we'll just come back when they're done. Alright, so our opponent played Ruby Medallion, Artist Talent, and Ral. And then they're just passing the turn. Oh, wait. Wow, I stepped away and I didn't even realize that it was my turn. Okay. We went to our second main, so we didn't even get to play Emperor. Not that it would really do anything anyway. Warp a Quantum Riddler, because that's what we drew for turn. Find a Faithful Mending. Cast Faithful Mending. Can't believe they bricked. I mean, we just keep bricking too, so. Flooded Strand, Emperor. Play the Surveil land. Ephemerate's a little bit too late. Graveyard, and we'll just pass. Yeah, really weird game. I don't know, like, what's going on here. But again, we'll come back after they're, like, supposed to win right now, so. Alright, and after 15 minutes, they finally get there. So against Storm, we want 2 Spell Bombs. We definitely want the Thoughtseize. Consign to Memory could be good against the actual Storm triggers. Subtlety's pretty medium. Force is really good. Emperor's solid. Solitude was really good that game. Don't need Gristlebrand. Pending's amazing. Bring this in. We can take out a Ketramose. Teferi, Faithful Mending. Bring in Consign to Memory. Take out 1 Riddler too. It's kind of slow. We'll try that. Alright, on the play against Storm. Now that we know what we're up against, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We have Force Negation, we have a Surveil Land, double Force, so see if we can find it. We do not find it, but we do put Atraxa into the yard. Something. We have a lot of time to buy with these forces, and Emperor eats away at their graveyard. Let's see how much we get punished, as usual. We find the land. Sick. It's not a blue land, but we'll try it. They actually ban a Ruby Medallion. So let's go Emperor. Just eat the Medallion. Next time we can actually eat Atraxa and get just a crap ton of stuff. So because they bin the one Ruby Medallion, we're assuming they have another one. And we're definitely going to force it. Even though we could pending it, we could do whatever, but Ritual. We're going to let that go. With them starting on a Ritual, we'll see. Oh, it's Ral. Okay. Maybe we should have forced that then. We'll just force the next spell. Not a big deal. Yeah, I was kind of hoping that they would play the Ruby Medallion. So now we're going to Atraxa, looking for a land, looking for Ephemerate, looking for Solitude. Another Atraxa, okay. So let's move to combat. Eat Atraxa. We'll adapt. Atraxa triggers. We find everything. Marsh Flats, Ephemerate, and Quantum Riddler. Only 3 cards, but that's fine. Move to combat. Get in for 11. Can't believe they tried to turn to us. Marsh Flats. Go get our blue source. Blue-white. Go get a Hallowed Fountain. Ephemerate Atraxa. Find Solitude. Prismatic Ending. Consign to Memory. Flooded Strand. I'm going to Solitude now. Pitching Atraxa. And then we'll just chill. So they have 1 turn. We have the Force. And even if they play Rao, the next spell they cast is getting countered, so it doesn't really matter. Cool. All right. 1 lander for the win. So we're going to try to do that again. This time on the draw. This hand, I don't mind mulliganing this hand. It has Pitch Solitude here and then 4 lands. That's about it. So let's mulligan. This hand also kind of sucks. No Force Negation. It has Pitch Solitude, but other than that, it sucks. It has Emperor to eat the graveyard, but that's really slow. They kept 7. Let's try 1 more. All right, we'll keep this. I mean, this is fantastic, but I feel like I want to consign. Put back 1 consign, and I think Psychic Frog. Like, this is our discard outlet. This discards this, and then we can get it with this. But consign against Ruby, or if we just get got by a quick Storm. Yeah, let's put Psychic Frog back. I'm going to hope to draw another discard outlet. I really want to keep the consign. If they have Ral for the 3rd time in a row, then so be it. Quantum Riddler. Really hoping for the Medallion here. They play Hard Mesa, fetch, get a Steam Vents. Come on, they have to play it. You know they have it. They were like thinking about it. Looted Delta. I'm just going to warp. We don't have the Ephemerate, but we could also just Surveil here too. Oh wow, Force is actually huge. Alright, well now I'm glad I warped. But yeah, you could Surveil looking for like an Ephemerate for later for this. Ren's Resolve. I'm going to force that. That helps them find land drops. Okay, there's a Surveil land. But it also helps them just find more cost reducers. You could save it for a cost reducer, but if they have Ral, then you're just kind of screwed. Solitude. So we'll play Delta, pass the turn. Another Impulse. They do find Ral. Do they have land drop Ral? They do not. Okay, so next turn they can play Ral. We need to find a white card. Let's get Sewers. And there's a white card. Not the most exciting, but we know they have a Ral coming up. So once they play Ral, and then when they go to cast Pyretic Ritual, we're just going to Solitude it. Now we just need lands or a way to put something into the yard. They do have 3 mana floating, and they have 5 cards in hand, so we'll see what they have. Hopefully it's a whole lot of nothing. Manamorphose. They're digging. Just a very fair Manamorphose. They make blue mana. I wonder if they have like a Flame of an Ore or something. Draw 2. Pyretic Ritual. Hopefully they don't have a bunch of rituals and Piff. That would be unfortunate, because they could fairly go off here a little bit. That's what it looks like they're doing. They have 3 rituals. They have 4 rituals in the yard, so they can, if they have a Wish, they could totally go off. There's Piff. So 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, and then they have the Reckless Impulse to try to find some stuff. So again, we'll come back when they're done. All right, and they don't manage to go off, but they go through a bunch of their deck, and now they have all of these cards from Resolves that they get to cast. So they can play Medallion, Ral, land. They have a Piff in the yard. We just draw a second Goryo's, unfortunately, so this does nothing. So we're just going to have to pass, and I guess they're just going to pop off. They have a little bit of time, but shouldn't be too hard. All right, and they don't close this time either, but we draw our 3rd Goryo's, which is just a sad way to lose the 5-0. So we're just going to do nothing and pass. Very unlucky, but it's going to happen. All right, and our opponent times out. Let's see what we would have drawn. The game never works, but maybe it could have been something good. All right, welcome to the trophy match on the play. God, these 1-landers are killing us, man. We're going to keep. Like, come on. We have Atraxa, we have Frog the discard, we have the Goryos, we have pending for early stuff. We have the Surveil, so we have actually 2 looks at lands. We can't brick, right? Play Flooded Strand and pass. Polluted Delta. We're going to get a, I guess, white-black here. Shadowy Backstreet. There we go. Never punished. Play the Delta. Play out Psychic Frog. Blue-black. So all we really wanted to do was resolve this as a discard outlet. If they kill this, it's going to suck, but it's like not the worst. They have a Surveil land. They keep it on top, so I'm assuming this is either the Mirror or Frog. Another tap land. That's good for us. So they're going to need a Force and Negation for this Atraxa. Tameo. Yeah, they're going to need a Force for this Goryo's. I'd take another land. Nice. Okay. So we could bait a Force with this Pending, or if they have nothing, we're gonna high roll it. We're gonna assume they don't have Force, because we could bait with Pending, they force it, and then we do this, but then we don't have Ephemerate mana up. But we're gonna try to do both here. So let's discard Atraxa, cast Goryo's, make them have it. They don't have it. Sick. We find the Ephemerate. We find Solitude. Okay, and they just concede. Awesome. We would have Ephemerated here, which they know about, and then we have Solitude pitch. We can Solitude the Tameo. They saw that also. Oh, they actually pitched a, I didn't even see that. They pitched a Flame of Anor. So this is going to be Wizards. So we definitely want Teferi. Definitely want the Dispute. Spellbomb's good against Snapcaster, but that's about it. Pest Control, don't think we need that. Thoughtseize is tempting. Probably don't need Subtlety. So let's say we want these four. Ketramose can be good. That's just hard for them to deal with. I do think Gristlebrand comes out in this matchup. We just have so much value here that we don't really need Gristlebrand, and we have the Atraxas. Forces, we still need 2 more cuts. Emperor of Bones is good. It slowly eats away at their lands. Maybe like a Faithful Mending. We'll take away 2 Faithful Mending and try that. Game 2, and we're going to keep this hand. We actually have 2 lands, which is nice. We have early interaction with Dispute, and then Force if we need it. So we can Dispute like a Teferi or turn 1 Tameo. Well, not turn 1, but Dispute's just really good in the matchup. Polluted Delta. Let's see if they have a Tameo turn 1. Most likely. Watery Grave. Would love to dispute that. Another Force. Let's go Delta go. Emperor is going to be annoying for them to deal with. They're going to have to Flame of Anor, most likely. Tameo gets in, and then they just pass. Maybe crack a Clue token, maybe Surveil. Let's get Sewers. Land, we'll keep land on top. Play Marsh Flats. We're going to run out Emperor here. Gotta God the Shrine. This is just annoying for them to deal with. We'll eat their land. We're hoping that they just Flame of Anor this. If they do, we can just force it. They're definitely gonna, again, Surveil or crack the Clue. Just Surveil. They do keep it on top. They have the push. They do have the push. Yeah, that's annoying, but we're gonna let that happen. Tameo gets him. Psychic Frog. Oh, man. Would love to counter this. Love a white card. White card would be amazing. No white card, but do have Quantum Riddler. Damn, would love to Solitude both of these. They're not playing Blood Moon because they're fetching like this. So let's get a Hallowed Fountain. Let's warp. Oh, we drew the white card there. Damn. We tried. We'll Ephemerate. That enters Psychic Frog. But, I mean, at least we have blockers now. They can't discard enough to get through Quantum Riddler. Now, if they want to Flame of Anor this, we can force it. If they ever draw their second land or third land. That would have been sick, though, to find the white card for Solitude to get rid of both of these. Or you just Ephemerate this, which is also fine as a blocker. No attacks. Rebound. We'll target Riddler. We're not going to be attacking yet. Another Solitude. So we'll play the land. Wish we had an Ephemerate. So I kind of want to keep up Dispute for when they get their third land. They're definitely going to be cracking a Clue token. We can't really attack, because then they just get all this back. We could play Psychic Frog out and hold up Force and Dispute. I kind of like that. You could also Riddler. Yeah, I guess we play Psychic Frog out. Do they have a Dispute? They went to go do something. I guess we'll pass. Again, Ephemerate's our best draw. See if they have like a push for the Frog. Just nothing. Wow, they didn't even crack a Clue token. Alright, they pushed the Frog. Do we force this? So annoying. Yeah, I guess we'll force. God, I really don't want to. Nah, I'm just gonna let it go. Fatal Push is so good against us just because it's like such a small thing. You could force this just because they're stuck on lands, and try to like keep up the pressure. I don't know. Draw to Fairy. I mean, if they're gonna do something that's gonna get the Dispute out or something they have, we're gonna bounce Psychic Frog, draw Pending. Now we can start attacking, and now we can just Dispute the Frog on the way back down to 12. And we get the trophy. All right, so we got the trophy with Esper Goryo's in Modern. So after that league, I thought the deck felt really strong. We got to do the thing a few times with reanimating Atraxa, ephemerating it, just burying our opponent in card advantage. Obviously, we got lucky in some games where our opponents either misclicked or timed out, but again, that's Magic Online for you. I'm really digging the Quantum Riddler version. It gives you another way of winning without having to worry about the graveyard. The same can be said about Psychic Frog. So like we said in the beginning, this deck kind of turns into an Esper midrange deck. The graveyard is just kind of icing on the cake. The 1-ofs in the deck felt fine. We drew them every so often, and they didn't really do too much. Teferi got to bounce 1 or 2 things. Emperor did the thing once, which was cool. I really do love Emperor in this deck. It's incidental graveyard hate, and it synergizes really well with our graveyard plan. But I can understand going to 1 if you want to try to bring in the Quantum Riddlers. But overall, it's a really strong deck. It's been doing really well in the challenges. So if you're looking for a really competitive deck, this might be the one. But that'll do it for me. Thank you so much for watching this trophy video. If you want to see more modern content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Peace.